but I think it's off. It's that first bit.
This is not all your intro, is it?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, just that first, like this.
Right here.
Is intro, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, it's
Third
so.
law states. I would not lead with that.
Dude.
It's kind of fun, but
Okay.
testimony provides, quote, the entry of a statement that is testimony is unnatural, which creates a situation of connection. Yes.
So I was just trying to.
Yeah, I appreciate the effort. Be unconventional is be illegal in violations. But to confront his accuser.
It doesn't really make sense right now.
Its connotation safeguards defense. I mean, I don't know.
What do you want me to aim for?
Simpler.
Okay.
Don't try too much. Just like a paragraph on the facts, a paragraph on the law. So
Yes, sir.
paragraphs on the facts, paragraph on the argument. So, you've written your facts section, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, think about how to just summarize those facts in a paragraph. And here's how I would do something like, you're the defendant, right?
Yes, sir.
At Ronald Miller's murder trial, the government introduced an autopsy report that undercut his primary defense, period. The author of the autopsy report did not testify. Instead, another medical examiner testified. Another medical examiner testified in his place. Period. New paragraph. This violated Miller's right to confront witnesses. This violated Miller's confrontation clause right, period. And then say why. Put it, add 3 sentences in your own words.
Sure.
So it could be, this violated Miller's confrontation clause right because confrontation clause bars out-of-court testimonial statements. This autopsy report was Miller's autopsy report was testimonial because, and then say something about the primary purpose.
Okay.
It was also testimonial because, and say something about formal.
Okay.
And the surrogate witness's testimony violated the confrontation clause because she was not present for the report and could not replicate it. So you've got paragraph of facts, paragraph of legal argument. I gave you the facts one, but you fill in the legal argument.
Yes, sir.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See how doesn't do me any good to just write paragraphs for you, but I do feel like that it's useful if I'm able to show a paragraph and you see why it works, so that you then do it next time, or you do it for later in the brief. So I think that in your intro, you were trying very hard to be creative, which is not something that I would criticize, but you ended up with a product that was at the expense of clarity and making your point in the clearest and strongest way. So when that happens in the future, then think, okay, what is the purpose of this? What is the simplest way to achieve that purpose? What's the clearest way to achieve that purpose? And most of those sentences I just gave, they're 8 words long. And you know, the facts, like there's not a lot of fluff, it's just like, here are the facts.
Yeah.
So start there, and then, you know, if you wanna like add more, maybe not, maybe move on. But, I think that, so did you have one of the meetings that was canceled Friday?
Mm-mm.
No, okay. So this is your last meeting, and it's due Wednesday.
Yeah.
So.
Do Thursday, right?
Do Thursday, yeah, do Thursday.
Sweet, okay.
You know, at this late point of the game, just get the basics.
Yes, sir.
Down on
I'm with
paper,
you.
you know?
I'm with you, yeah.
And then, you know, if once you get that, if you wanna do more, that's like a luxury, but, just get the basics. Don't overcomplicate, it's complicated enough. Don't overcomplicate it, and, don't make it harder than it has to be. Alright?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
What else?
So I'm scratch out that. Running through this. So intro, statement of the issue, said was fine, facts was fine. Summary of the argument I have down in my notebook on how to do it, and it's like a paragraph on this, paragraph on formality, maybe paragraph on. I have it in my notebook, but
Yeah.
maybe if you just want to talk it out a
Yeah.
little bit.
So, let's think about how to do one of the paragraphs, and then maybe it'll give you an idea for the second one. So, let's start the summary of the argument by saying, the prosecution violated Miller's confrontation clause right
Okay.
in 2 ways. Wow,
You want
look
me-
at that gigantic bug.
It's like a beetle. It's like a water bug, I think, or something.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I can't tell what that is.
Oh,
Oh no,
fuck.
he's on the top of the board.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's under. Yeah.
This might be, can I kill it?
Yeah, do you think? Do you have anything?
Oh, I see it now, yeah.
Oh, that looks like a stink bug. Go ahead, you can kill it. Yeah. There you go.
So is it gonna stink now?
No, they really don't stink to me, but I don't know, sometimes they do. I heard that they attract more though.
Oh, now it's
Oh.
underneath there, so it's gonna be like there forever.
Is he?
Now it's like behind this thing.
That might be a disaster. Oh no, this thing comes off.
You see him? I don't look over at you.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, you see it?
Yeah, no, there. All right. Let's go put this in Professor Jordan's office. I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's just give that sentence. Let's just say,
Prosecution violated Miller's confrontation.
yeah, but let's just say, Miller's autopsy report was testimonial because its primary purpose was to provide evidence for a future trial. This is clear because, this is clear for 3 reasons. First, the medical examiner knew it would be used in a criminal trial. Second,
It was taken
Yeah.
outside of an emergency.
what did you say?
Nothing.
Yeah, that's good. Second, it was taken outside of an emergency. Third, the medical examiner's office was entangled with the police.
Okay.
Then, new paragraph. The Miller's autopsy, Miller's autopsy is also testimonial because it was formal. And then you, Dimitri, you do for that paragraph tonight or whatever, what I just did for the previous paragraph.
Makes sense.
Just like it was formal for, that's true for 3 reasons. First, second, or it's true for 2 reasons.
And no examples.
Huh?
No examples or anything.
No, I don't think you need, you mean in terms of cases?
Or
Precedents?
just like facts.
Yeah, so
Oh.
like, no, I'm saying like you fill in the paragraph.
My bad.
You do it. So you'll, like you do it right now, like it's true for 3 reasons. First.
It was
formal.
signed.
Yeah, first it was
Yeah.
signed, period.
Yeah, it
Second.
was all my factors. Second, it was, and I had a question on that later, but, so it was signed, it was part of a formalized process.
Yep.
It was a government,
There you go.
thing.
Yeah, so first, it was signed, period. Second, it was the product of a formalized process, period. Third, it was created by the government.
And so that's my formula, that's my.
That's your second paragraph of the summary of the argument.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice, okay.
Good.
So wait, and then on the, I think what I'm struggling with too in my argument, so I have the factors for, and you gave me the surrogate, right? Why they couldn't testify.
Mhm.
They weren't there.
Yep.
It wasn't for the TOMA, what I call it, truth
Truth
and
matter surrogate.
Yeah, and then those were the only 2 I had, but.
And the defendant, the surrogate can't replicate it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think I knew. Okay, so then that'll be easy to fill in. And then do the same thing for the third one. Alright, then one thing, so we said it wasn't certified when I was going through my formal, but was the death certificate certified?
So yeah, somebody's pointed that out. I think the death certificate was certified, so, you
That's
know,
alright.
I would keep the focus on the autopsy report.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, it was the findings of the autopsy report that Adler described.
Yeah.
So like, her testimony totally depended on the autopsy report, not the death certificate. You know, it is true the death certificate was certified, but maybe you could say it was still not formal because, why not? It wasn't sworn, it wasn't notarized.
Yeah, notary, okay.
Um,
And then, but we have everything else, so trying to downplay those, right? Okay, and then, a couple things in my, oh, sorry.
That's all right.
In this, let me think. And then also the facts, so the police officer found out she was right-handed, right, and then sent that, and put that in the autopsy report, cause he told Hines. So was he already doing investigations? Cause I kinda put that in my paper.
If that was right, then yeah, it sounds
Okay.
like, it sounds like the police officer was certainly investigating the death.
Okay.
It may not have been a homicide investigation yet, but it was investigating the death.
So I do some weird stuff. So one thing, how are my headings already?
So for death certificate or testimonial, yep.
So I have a period, and
Yep,
then-
the primary purpose test explained in the, so this is not a sentence, so, I would say something like, under the primary purpose test, Miller's autopsy was testimonial.
Alright, so. This paragraph, I say under the primary purpose test, the statement is testimonial when it's made to the police outside of an emergency. So, and then I said, for example, now, I don't know if my sentences are long. This one does look pretty long, but, do I need these parts, like, or should I just focus on what this is saying? Cause I kinda say, yes, this was taken outside of emergency, and it was used for later criminal, even though my first point was like criminal prosecution.
So your first point, what's your first point?
Was, that Hines knew that it would be used.
Yeah. So this is the outside of an emergency. So for example, police responding to domestic possible domestic disturbance.
Oh, maybe recording statements.
You could probably leave this out, because you're focusing on the emergency part. So for
Okay.
example, police responding to a possible domestic disturbance, record statements from the victim, who admitted there had been a conflict, while the attacker was in a separate part of the house. I mean, I think that's not a complete sentence. You need like, for example, when
Okay.
police responding to a message recorded statements from the victim, I would leave this part out
Okay.
about the conflict. Recorded statements from the victim while the attacker was in a separate part of the house, comma, the victim's statements were testimonial because there was no emergency, or because the emergency had passed.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll do that on all those. These two sentences, which one do you think you like more? This, for example, and then this one?
So this one goes under the creator knows it will be used in a later criminal trial.
Yes, sir.
For example, police requested analysis of an unknown substance revealed subsequent creator having knowledge of this report was incriminating and that it was required to use the police. The reason we the report would be used in a later trial, or a report revealing, for example, a report revealing an unknown substance was cocaine was required to use in police who originally submitted substance for analysis, and because the evidence was incriminating required by law enforcement to create the reason. I think the second one is clear.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, then I do weird things in my punctuation.
Punctuation here on this paragraph.
Yes, sir.
Miller's autopsy is like the testimonial statements in Bulk Command, which should be italicized, where the blood test was requested by law enforcement to investigate a crime being committed. In Melendez-Diaz, where a drug test was requested to investigate a crime being committed, and in Davis, where statements from the domestic abuse victim were requested by law enforcement to investigate a crime had occurred, because, yeah, so I'm confused. So this one should just be a sentence. Miller's autopsy, yeah, break this up. And then, okay, so in Melendez-Diaz, let's just put a pin in the aside there for a minute. So in Melendez-Diaz and in Davis, let's put a pin in that aside for statements. Right. So in Melendez-Diaz and in Davis, what?
So what I was saying is, the statements are like the ones in Bulkaming, in Melendez-Diaz, and in Davis, and then I'm describing them. So 3 different sentences.
And you're saying that these 3 things describe them?
And this is why. Yeah. This is why those statements are like these.
Oh, I see. Oh, Miller's autopsy is like the testimonial statements in Bulkaming. It's like the testimonial statements in Melendez-Diaz. I see. It's like the testimonial statements in Davis. Okay.
Sorry, it's
So,
confusing.
no, so Miller's autopsy report is like the testimonial statements. I would just say it's also like the testimonial statements in Melendez-Diaz, where a drug test was requested, period. And it's like the testimonial statement in Davis, where statements are occurred, period. That's because, colon, these 3 things.
Okay. Cool. Yes, sir. It's gonna clear it up for me. Alright. Well, do you like my? I think my primary purpose test is pretty short. I don't wanna make you read too much. But could you run through?
Yeah, the primary purpose part?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it starts where,
Let's see. Where we at right here? This one, right, it starts here,
so this is the primary purpose test, starting right here, and it's gonna go through where?
One more page. Let me go through. Man, I'm just unorganized. I'm killing this.
That's all right, let's see. Are you looking for just the rule explanation for it, or are you also looking at the application for it?
It's just both, just that
Okay.
whole first part. And
So
then
let's see, this,
if that's D something, I know I can replicate.
okay, so let's figure out, okay, so here's where rule explanation starts.
Yes, sir.
And it runs through here, runs through here, runs through here.
So it ends at. Dang it. Oh, it stops at last Supreme Court ruling. Oh, so it stops here. That's kind of longer than.
Okay, but that's, I'm just trying, yeah, but I wanna figure out first where the rule explanation stops.
Oh,
Um,
it stops at. There's autopsies, like the testimonial statements. I think it stops at that paragraph where we,
the punctuation check paragraph.
I believe so. Oh, no, it starts above that. Miller's, confrontation allows the defendant an opportunity to uncover human error. So it stops at.
It looks like maybe, here, it's just mislabeled. This is 5,
Oh, okay.
and this is 6, I think. Let's see. Nervous
Yeah,
musculoskeletal systems.
That's where RE ends.
Okay.
That's where it begins.
Okay.
Rule F.
Good. Okay, so that makes more sense. Okay, so let's start with just the with just the rule explanation. And then we'll go to the application. Okay. Evidence is testimonial when it's being proved to establish or prove past events potentially relevant to a later criminal prosecution. There are 3 factors that inform the same case stands. First, in front of first test, friends or first testimony which the creator knows will be used in the criminal trial. The circumstances will lead an objective witness to believe the statement will be available for use in a later trial. Good. Example, police request analysis of unknown substance revealed the substance was cocaine. Good. Then alternative sentence or report revealing unknown substance. Well, that's, yeah. The Supreme Court also ruled evidence of testimony in police request prison. A private person's testimony was made was outside of emergency. So is that the second one? Yeah, so let's call that second. And the private person's statement testimonial when it was made with, let's say statement is often testimonial. Okay. So it's a little too broad. Then push back. Third, on the private person's statement is more likely testimonial to depend on skill methodology, judgment of its maker, and the theater. There's ways the question the actual make the report. Cocaine test for the creator was very scrivener.
That part's not very.
Let's take it out actually because
Okay.
I don't think it has to be part of the test.
Okay.
Confrontation, okay. And then okay, and Mrs. Miller's autopsy was testimony satisfies each of the Okay, so this is where the formality part, this is where the primary purpose part ends.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think that, you've got the substance there. You just need to make it into sentences and paragraphs, and, keep your sentences short, keep your subject and verbs together.
Okay.
And, I think that, like, when I look at this sort of page, it looks worse than it is.
Okay.
It looks like,
mess.
oh my goodness, like, how is this all gonna come together? But when I actually read the words, I can see that, like, you've got the substance there.
Yes, sir.
So, just take it paragraph at a paragraph,
Step by step, like you said.
bird by bird,
All right.
and, keep it simple.
Yes, sir.
So, and then once you did, try to get the prime purpose thing done, and then don't worry about formality and surrogate until you finish primary purpose. Just
Yes,
like,
sir.
and then if you'll finish primary purpose and you'll see, like, okay, like, this works,
Good.
right? This is serviceable, and then that'll give you a confidence to do the formality part.
All right.
Okay?
I appreciate it.
You got it.
What was I gonna say? So you said cut out that third part though, the methodology.
Yeah,
part.
just take that part out.
Yes, sir. All right, let's get home.
Yeah.
Here's the bed. All right, see you later, sir.
All right. See you, Demetrius.
Mm-hmm.